Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Well, today we finally got the Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase that everyone has been talking about for good and for bad, just because it just seems like there's a lot of negativity about it. Everyone was just so upset that it was going to be a partner showcase. And then today, when it came out, people watched it. And if you actually listen to a lot of the people, they're just dunking on it, saying, oh, this is a horrible direct. How could they do this? Just because there were some, I guess, games that they really were expecting and really wanting to be there. And the fact that they weren't there, all of a sudden made this like the worst direct in history. And I was like, I don't see it, whatever it is they're talking about. So, you know what? As everyone wants to go through and talk about all the negatives, and give it, I mean, even just mediocre grades of 5. I mean, that seems like you're just kind of putting it down a little bit more. But that's all my opinion. Everyone's entitled to their own opinions. But this is what I actually have for y'all, is 16 great games that I saw in this direct that I think are worth a look. I mean, these are ones that really piqued my interest, that I'm really excited about, and hopefully whenever it is they come through, I just want to kind of share them with you. Maybe you can get excited for them too. If maybe you didn't watch the direct, maybe you've missed everything there, but just dive right into this. The very first game that they showed off was one that I talked about in a previous video as a leak, and it was for Orbitals. Now this, I was already kind of intrigued by this just because of like the anime art style that they had in this game. It just really reminded me of like the glory days of anime, in my opinion. Like if you grew up like me watching like Voltron and Robotech and some of the older animes, just the art style here just looks really cool. The gameplay, we got to see a little bit more of it and actually know a little bit more of the story. And it's just made me want to get this like even more. The fact that it's like a co-op game and the way that it looks, it just looks like something that I could kind of play with my wife. And it's like very reminiscent for It Takes Two and for Split Fiction. And it just looks like a really fun game. It's coming out, like, we don't have a date. We just have a time frame. It just says it's supposed to be like in the summer of this year. So, I mean, it's one of many games apparently coming out this summer. Summer's going to be packed with games. I don't know how I'm going to be able to play them all. But moving right along, the very next game that they showed off was for, it's a sandbox game, survival game called Valheim. And it supports up to like 10 players as you can play online. And what it is like you're fallen Vikings. So you have to go through and in your environment craft weapons and tools to be able to make shelters. And then you're going to be fighting off against different enemies in different environments. And just kind of making like your own, like a Viking settlement type thing. And so you just build it all from the ground up. And so it just kind of intrigues me. And it looks like a really fun time. Just something I can play online with some friends. And just to be able to, I guess, to kill some time, whatever. Because apparently a lot of them are really into Baldur's Gate 3. But I'm trying to stay away from that. I know if I get sucked into that, that's where all my time is going to end up going. But next one was a game I actually had kind of like on my bingo card. I kind of wish I'd done a predictions video now, because now I would have been proven right for this. Was that I wanted a release date for this game for The Adventures of Elliot, the Millennium Tales. I've done a video when I played the demo, and I absolutely loved the demo. It's got like the HD 2D art style that I just really find enjoyable. I really love it, especially like in the Octopath series, and Square Enix just is just doing it all again with this art style, and it just very much reminds me as if almost like Kind of like Secret of Mana and like an old school Zelda game, kind of like just meshed together is just kind of what it really reminds me of, because kind of got that not quite top down feel, but you're running around over so you can go through and explore your area. You see the monsters on there, much like Secret of Mana, or for Chrono Trigger. But then once you start into the battle, it is much like Secret of Mana, where it's like the action RPG type elements, where you're actually pushing the button to do your attacks onto the enemies, and you're having to try to dodge attacks. And where I say that it's like the Zelda things, because you really get to smash a lot of pots, and some of the enemies remind me very much of those. And also the fact that you get to like these shrines in which you have to go through and you have to complete some challenges, and then at the end of those challenges it was like one little life drop, which means you can take like an extra hit before you die and everything. So that was just really reminding me of like the heart pieces, or maybe not the pieces, but the actual heart containers from Zelda. And that's actually coming out on June 18th. Now, I forgot to mention it for Valheim. Don't have a release date. It's just sometime this year. So it doesn't really narrow it down very much, but it's something else we can be looking forward to. And the very next game that they showed, I was like, oh my gosh, so super excited to see this. And this was on my bingo card too for wanting for this game. And that is, we are going to be getting Final Fantasy VII for Rebirth. I'm halfway, well, not halfway, almost halfway through with Intergrade. And I'm absolutely loving it. And just and to be able to not complete, but to move on to the next part of it would just be a great time. And I'm actually kind of wondering the way that they're releasing all this, if whenever the third part actually comes out, if that's going to be a day one release for like all the systems. And that I think would be like something very special, because I don't think Nintendo hasn't really been able to do that very much because of the way that the games performed on all the other platforms. The Switch just wasn't up to snuff for all those games, but the Switch 2 puts it up on par with all those, so it enables them to be able to do that. So it's something that, since the release of the Switch 2, we might be able to start seeing more of. And so then the very next game that actually showed off, that just is not exactly my cup of tea, but I know a lot of people probably would find it, like for Dead Space, and they're like Chronos, because it kind of has an horror element to it, but it's got that space sci-fi element and everything to it. But it is going to be an sci-fi action adventure game called Pragmata, where you have an AI girl on your back as you're playing the main guy, and he's got weapons shooting off against AI androids that are out to get you. But with her, you can actually, and when you start into battles, it's like a real-time puzzle element to it, where you have to go through and move your cursor to different spots, which enables different abilities. Like there's little nodes in there that you can hit in between, which will make it like so you can do like extra damage or maybe like an area effect. And it kind of looks really intriguing to me. Something that it's, like I said, it's not something that I normally would play, but just the way that it looked, I really kind of feel like I should give it a shot, because it just looked, the graphics for it and everything looked really great. And now moving on, there's another game. I didn't play the originals. I'm just going to go ahead and say that up front. But this is for, Pragmata comes out on April 24th. Wow, I am all over the place tonight. But the next game moving on was for Turok Origins. Now, this game looked really interesting. It's a co-op shooter, up to 3 players. Like I said, I didn't play the original Turoks, but I know about them. I've known people that have played them and they enjoyed them. It just wasn't my thing. I just never really played them. But it's coming out sometime this fall, and the way that it looks really cool. If you're just fighting all the different monsters, and the fact that when you defeat the monsters and in the environment, you can kind of absorb the DNA of different things to affect your suit, which will give you certain abilities that you can actually use to be able to fight different monsters and everything. That aspect of it kind of didn't exactly sell it on me, but it just kind of made me wanting to play it just a little bit more for everything. And then this next game, I'm actually super excited for. I'd heard rumors about it. It was for a sequel to Tokyo Xanadu, and this is actually called Kyoto Xanadu. Now, I have Tokyo Xanadu. I have not played it yet, but I've heard great things about it. So when people were talking about this rumor, they were super excited about it. And now it's come to fruition. And so, but the gameplay and everything that they looked like it was like that you were exploring it and almost like for the dungeons as a 2D kind of like action platformer. But then it actually goes through when you progress far enough into the dungeon. Like I'm assuming it must be like for a boss, that it turns into a 3D combat, like action role-playing game type combat for those boss fights. And then when you're not exploring the dungeon, it actually has kind of like social sim elements to it, where you're actually, because you're in high school, so you're going to chat and talk around with friends, building up your relationships with them, and I'm assuming taking tests and everything through to level up and expand upon your skills and improve your character that way as well. And so it just looks really cool. Something that's coming out this summer. Like I said, I mean, that's what, 3 or 4 games already coming out this summer. So yeah, a packed summer. And another game coming out this summer, coming out on July 10th, is Digimon Story Time Strangers. Now, this is coming out on like all the other systems, but now that we have the Switch 2 released, now it's coming to the Switch 2, and I've heard great things about it. A lot of people really liked it. I liked the Digimon back in the day, like watched the cartoon and everything, and so it just looks like a really fun time, and I kind of want to see where it goes, because I haven't actually played like a Digimon game like this. So it's kind of like another version of Pokemon. So, and I really love the Pokemon series. So I'm just really hoping that I'll actually really like this, and maybe I can start trying to get some more into the Digimon games. And next one is another game that's come out for all these different systems, but didn't get it for the Switch. And I was super bummed about that. But now that we have the Switch 2 and it's coming to the Switch 2, and I am greatly excited to be able to play this. And that is for Granblue Fantasy Relink. And this is actually Endless Ragnarok. So it's got additional DLC that the other systems had and had to get, I guess they had to get it included. Well, now this is actually going to be included into the game. So it's got all those extra goodies and stuff that original people didn't get. Unless, I guess, I don't know if they were free or how they did for the updates for it. But that is going to be here coming out on July 9th. And it just looks like a really cool game. The art style for it is really fun. And just, I don't know, I've seen just the artwork for it, and I've really liked it, and I was just super excited that it's finally coming to the Switch 2. Now, there's a few other games I wish would come to the Switch 2 as well, but we're not going to get into that in this video. Maybe I can do it in another video. But moving right along, we've already heard like about this for like every Nintendo Direct. Everyone's been talking about it for, I don't know, when the first Direct came out with, and it showed it for this and showed like the teaser trailer for it. But for Monster Hunter Stories 3, Twisted Reflections, and I'm not the biggest Monster Hunter guy. I have not played any of the stories. But if this is actually like a really like fun game and really good, I might have to just pick up the other two and play them. But this is actually coming out pretty soon. I was actually kind of shocked by how quickly this is coming out. It's coming out next month, March 13th. So not much time to be able to kind of prepare for it. And just, it looks like a really fun game. Like Pokemon in the Monster Hunter world. And so the next game that we actually have coming out, it's coming out in the summer. It was in the sizzle reels. It's for Another Eden Begins. And so I was looking at this, and some of the characters reminded me of like previous games, and actually reminded me of from Chrono Trigger, because I saw the frog, whose name escapes me at the moment. But then I was looking at it and watching, like I watched a trailer for it on something else. And so this is why it reminded me of them, because it has the collaboration of the writer Masato, I'm assuming it's like Kato, and the music composer Yusunori Mitsuda. They both worked on Xenogears and the Chrono series for Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross. So they're coming back together to make this new action RPG, and it's got the time elements to it where you're making discoveries in certain points in time, much like Chrono Trigger. And the art style for it looks really cool. I can't really liken it to any other games off the top of my head, but I know I've seen kind of games like it before, and just when you're fighting the monsters, putting up the big damage numbers, it just looks like a really fun time, something that I'm really looking forward to being able to play for this summer. And the next one was actually non-RPG, but it looked like a really pretty cool game. Is there also in the sizzle reels, and it's for Culdcept Begins. Now it did not actually, oh yeah, it did. I have it written down right here. I thought I didn't write it down. Coming out on July 16th, and it's kind of like a combination of like a deck building game and a board game, and the combination of the two looks like a kind of a fun time to be able to maybe to kill some time and something different from an RPG. Because I mean, don't get me wrong, I love my RPGs, but sometimes you just need a break from them every once in a while. And so, it just looks like a really fun game. Now, whether or not it's going to become like having a physical release, that's a completely different story. Because if it doesn't have a physical release, then it's kind of up in the air whether or not I get it, because I don't really buy games digitally. And yes, I know people can get us onto me for getting game key cards, but that's a completely different story. Now, another game, super excited that it's coming to the Switch too, is for Tales of Arise. I really like the Tales of series. I've played quite a few of them, beaten them, and always enjoyed my time with them. And this is actually, I didn't realize this is the 17th entry into the Tales of series. I did not know that there were that many. I mean, I knew that there was a lot, but not that many. And I've heard great things about this. Like, so many people telling me that it was like their game of the year. I don't know if it actually did win game of the year, but it was just like a very good game as far as like what the critics have said, and what people that I know in my like personal life have said, that it was just a great game and they really enjoyed playing it. But it wasn't on the Switch, so I couldn't experience it. But now it's on the Switch too, coming out. Oh, I did not write that down. May 22nd. And this is actually Beyond the Dawn edition. So it's not just Tales of Arise. It actually has some added DLC, which is included into the game. So, and coming out from Bandai Namco and everything. And so just looking forward to playing another Tales of game. I know we've got a lot because we had Tales of Xillia came out not too long ago. We've already got confirmation that Tales of Xillia 2 is coming out. We got Tales of Berseria is coming out. We got this game coming out. We had Tales of Grace's F. I mean, that's a lot of Tales of games coming out. But I am not complaining about those. I enjoy playing them, and I'm really hoping all of y'all do too. Next game, Resident Evil Requiem, coming out at the end of the month, February 27th. And they've also got Village and I think it's Biohazard, which were like 7 and 8 are coming as well. And so, I don't know. I'm not the biggest Resident Evil fan, but I know a lot of you might be. So you might be interested in really anticipating for this game to come out. And I might pick it up just to give it a shot. Hey, you comment down below if you actually really like the Resident Evil series. If there's like a particular game that you think that I should try to be able to dip my toes in, to maybe get started on the Resident Evil series, to see if it is actually something that I might enjoy. I would be open to that. The very last thing that we actually had was some games from Bethesda coming to the Switch 2. And so we have Fallout 4. It's coming out on February 24th. So I don't know if it was actually going to be like the physical release for it, or if it was going to be like the digital release on it. But so I have not played any of the Fallout games. I've heard a lot of good things about it. So a lot of my friends really enjoyed it. I kind of see if it just says, well, nope, it doesn't say. But I lost my train of thought. But I'm just really hoping to be able to try to give it a shot. Something to be able, maybe I can learn about it, the Fallout series. I just know that it's like an action role-playing game, and a lot of memes come out of it, and just a lot of people talk about it, how much they enjoy the series. And the very last, final thing they actually showed for Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered. And this actually does include not just the base game, but a lot of the other DLC is going to be into this game. And it's been reworked with the Unreal 5 engine, so that the gameplay for it is smoother, and the graphics and just how it looks is kind of updated a little bit. And so I have not played the Elder Scrolls, but I've heard, like a lot of these other games, I've heard a lot of good things about it. And I'm really interested in trying to just to dip my toe in, see what it's all about, see if it's something that I will like all these other RPGs that I played and am playing, and just to see if it's something else that maybe I can have as like not a backup plan, but just something that maybe you could throw in whenever it is you're wanting to kill some time, for just wanting to do something a little bit different. So, but 16 games all coming out this year. Most of them have release dates. And so just things that you can be looking forward to. And if you are still here, thank you very much for watching this. I know that by the time this comes out, a lot of people have probably already given their 2 cents and their reviews on what they thought about for the Direct. I wanted to try to give you my personal perspective of it, what I thought about it. And if you want to check it out, because there's probably a bunch of games on here that maybe you might be interested in, not particularly for these, do go ahead and check out the Direct. Now, if any of these games interested you, comment down below. What was your most anticipated game out of this list that you were like, like really excited for it. Like your day one pickup. Can't wait to play this game. Maybe you've already pre-ordered it. Assuming the pre-orders are out for it. I'd be really interested to find out, get a little bit more interaction for this. And if you do like this video, please do consider throwing a like on it. Share it to friends. Hype it up. I still haven't figured out how to do that, or even if it's possible for my videos. But thank you again for watching. If you are someone new, please do consider hitting that subscribe button just to help me get closer to that goal of 1,000 by the end of the year. I know with all y'all's help, with perseverance and everything, I can get through it, and I can get to that, maybe even surpass it. But have a great night. By the time this actually posts, great day, and God bless you all. I'll see you all next time.